Huge news this morning. Binance acquiring the non-US unit of FTX. Just how significant is this deal, Nick?
Probably the most dramatic deal I've ever seen in the history of the crypto industry. It consolidates basically the two largest offshore exchanges into one entity. An absolute coup for CZ and Binance, and really a disaster for FTX.
So in this deal, CZ and SBF cited liquidity risks as the reason for stepping in. What do we know right now in terms of how much trouble the business was facing?
Well, we know very little, but certainly by virtue of the fact that Sam was willing to do this deal, it suggests that FTX was deeply impaired in terms of the run on the bank that began in the last 48 hours. We don't know exactly what the issue was, whether they were lending out or gambling with user deposits. Obviously, FTX has Alameda, which is a closely affiliated proprietary trading firm. We don't know if FTX was secretly insolvent, but the fact that they were willing to do this deal at what will likely end up being a fire sale price, if I had to guess, suggests that something was deeply, deeply wrong in the FTX Alameda apparatus, which is extremely concerning to find out after the fact. And I think we're all very keen to learn what the actual details of that situation were.
Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. And as the entire world is processing the move made by CZ of Binance, the market is still uncertain. They're uncertain if this deal is going to stick. Will it pass the due diligence test? And as it was pointed out to me by someone who really knows, because FTX wanted to buy the Voyager assets, which went through the bankruptcy courts in New York, anything they do with that bankruptcy has to be approved by the court in New York. So essentially what that means is Binance would need to be approved by that New York court. So it's a deal that has a lot of complications, and that just being one. Back in May, the CFTC and members of Congress were palling around with Sam, suing DAOs and devs and trying to stop DeFi and plotting to regulate websites and wallet APIs. Gabriel Shapiro ended this tweet, "Regulators do not protect us, period." And do you remember Sam's tweet that I read to you in my video 2 days ago where he said, FTX is fine, assets are fine? Well, that has been deleted. This uncertainty in the market will remain until we are sure that there are no other assets or other platforms that are going to be severely impacted by this sudden lack of liquidity. And I think what everyone else is hanging on to is to be sure that CZ can or actually does do this deal. And like other big major crashes that we've experienced, it's going to take a lot of resolve. For most of us who pay close attention, the XRP community was introduced to Sam Bankman-Fried at the 2021 SWELL last year, when he and David had a very intellectual and insightful conversation. In light of where we are today, these moments in crypto, for me, are really sad and painful. And with this year's SWELL, it's going to be in London, and we've got Cindy Young passing through the Canary Wharf yesterday, and she just couldn't help but get some photos of Ripple's fantastic new Crypto Means Business ad campaign. And oh, before I forget, if you caught my video from yesterday, I talked about a brand new Ripple partner that is going to build a solution on the private XRP ledger, a federated sidechain, if you will, for the real estate industry. And that CEO, John McCoy, who is also going to speak at this year's SWELL, is coming onto the channel. I can't wait. And talking about guests on the channel, I had Dirk from the Xspector project, the NFT project and MetaVerse project on today. Yeah, that was really fun. We just talked everything about crypto. I'm going to play a little 2-minute clip of that at the end of this video. But first, let's hear a little bit from John Deaton. when he talked about what the differences are between the library case and the case that involves XRP.
Then we get into how we get into what wasn't involved in the library case. I cite to the judge the XRP debit card from Uphold, from the other cards that are being offered, the fact that people are getting paid in it. Here's another thing that doesn't apply to the library case. Over 5 or 6 jurisdictions across the world have declared XRP a non-security. You've got the United Kingdom, you've got Japan, you got Singapore, you got Switzerland, you got the United Arab Emirates. Okay? It keeps going on. You got all of these countries who looked at XRP and said it is a legitimate form of currency, medium of exchange. That does not exist in the library case. All right? It's not even apples to oranges. It's not even fruit when you're making the comparison. Okay? And so we go into all of that. Also, that's not in the library case. Spin the bits, tap jets, right? All of these companies are saying, look how we use this asset in a way that doesn't involve Ripple. And so there's no reason to lose confidence. Let me tell you, this decision in library sucks. This decision in library, if I would have told the SEC to write the opinion yourself, they wouldn't have written it any better for them. Let me just be candid. But it is ultimately going to sit in the realms of history as a federal judge sitting in New Hampshire who followed case law that's not applicable where we're at in the Southern District of New York. And that's the thing to really take confidence with. Last thing I would want to comment on, what else doesn't apply in the library case that applies to XRP? Well, a couple things we go over in our XRP holder amicus brief. 2014, the Government Accountability Office described XRP as a virtual currency in a decentralized payment system. 2015, the CFTC said Bitcoin and similar cryptos are commodities. In 2015, FinCEN settled with Ripple, declaring XRP virtual currency that forced Ripple to comply with the banking laws, not the securities laws. 2019, the framework that the digital asset framework for the SEC says this. It says a cryptocurrency that can be used immediately for payments or as a substitute for fiat is most likely not going to satisfy Howey. Can you think of a crypto that is used in immediate for payments and as a substitute for fiat? Can you think of one better? Well, guess what? In the Tap Jets amicus brief, they put in their survey where XRP killed all the other tokens as it relates to those two topics, okay? Also, library credits weren't used by MoneyGram in 2019 when MoneyGram filed forms with the SEC advising the SEC that they were going to use XRP in their cross-border payments system. Those are the things that we have that weren't in library. I feel for library. I tried to fight for library. I tried to draw attention to the case because I knew what was going to happen. I knew that there's likely going to be this ruling for the SEC, and then the SEC would trumpet it out as though the Supreme Court in the United States have ruled, and that's just not the case. So remain strong. I'm telling you, I'm very confident that the SEC will not win their summary judgment when the judge rules.
So as you heard, John is very confident. All right, everybody, let's jump to the fluff. Yes, yesterday was a moon that we hadn't seen for 442 years. When a moon viewing event takes place here, everybody throws an egg into their food. Yep, that egg is representing the moon. So when I went to go see some of the moon shots on Twitter, I found a whole lot of pictures of ramen with raw eggs. And don't forget the udon. I can do just about anything, but I still have trouble with a raw egg. And if you're not into noodles, well, you can get any kind of burger. This is Moss Burger, the McDonald's of Japan, and they serve an oskimi burger. You can see it there at the top. And somebody who has a duck was having a moon party. I think this is one of the best shots I could find, so I wanted to share it with you. All right, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye. I have with me tonight Dirk Scapins, and it is a pleasure to have you on. You've got a lot going on at Xspector, and so I have many questions, as well as you are now operating a validator for the XRP ledger, right?
We have a full history node and two validators up and running. We have a test validator, and we got on the UNL list of the XRP Foundation. So that was great news.
I pre-minted my NFT yesterday. That was fun to see it pop up, and it randomly generates, right? So you don't know what yours is going to look like. When I did it, I had the feeling like I want to try this again.
It's quite addictive. Even I did it. I don't get them for free, so I minted or pre-minted some of them myself, and it is quite addictive. Yeah. Well, David Schwartz, he got one with a snake. He did one as well. And then we have the famous Wiener Club. I don't know if you've seen that, but we have some holding the hot dogs, and it became like a hot topic because blockchain backer King Solomon and XRP Productions, they got one, and they created a little faction within Xspector. So the Wiener Club is quite desirable.
I can't say that with my NFT that I joined the Wiener Club. Sorry. But I am part of a club because he is holding something.
I'm very happy. We are now down to 8%. But what are the chances? So we sold about 92% of the pre-sale.
I did understand that I received 2 plots of land in the MetaVerse with the purchase of my NFT, but also you talked about that locking up, and I was not really fully aware of that before I pre-minted.
You have to hold 8,888 tokens. Once you enter the pre-sale or the pre-mint on our website, they get locked, and you get in your account a redeemable voucher, which gives you right to the 8,888 tokens upon mint.